All right, good morning, YouTube. My name is Cadet Fiorentini, and today I got Cadet Panti with us. Cadet Panti is the Spring 2022 Wing Commander. So yeah, this episode we're going to be getting to know Cadet Panti, his motivations for Wing Commander, and everything about him to introduce your Wing Commander this semester. All right, Nice to meet you, Cadet Panti.
Nice to meet you, I guess. Nice to meet you too.
Right. All right, so start off with the basics. Where are you from? What are you shooting for? What are your Air Force goals?
So obviously, you said Cadet Panti, but on a normal day, just Dan Michael, and consider San Antonio my home. So, but I was born in the Philippines, but I've been here, I think, the longest. So.
I didn't know you were born in the Philippines.
Yeah, so I was born in the Philippines, and from there just moved around. But consider San Antonio my home. I think I've been here for roughly 6 years now. And really for goals, I don't really try to look for like a 20-year goal. Like some people have a 20-year goal, a 10-year goal. For me, I'm just trying to commission. That's all. I think that's my big goal. But
you're always looking at the next 3 months.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm not like the type of person that goes like, all right, 20 years from now, I'm just gonna be a retired Air Force veteran. Like that's not really me. But really for a big Air Force goal, like what I'm looking at right now is just going through combat systems officer course, because I am a CISO select, and really just tracking for weapon systems officer and hopefully drop F-15 Strike Eagles. That's really just my big goal. I think that's like a 2-3 year goal. So I try not to look past that because I already know like something happens, obviously, God forbid, but I know it's going to change.
Yeah, definitely with the Air Force, there's all these like mini goals to get to that greater goal. So like, you got to look at the next 3 months, whether if it's like field training or like that next semester Wing Commander. You want to do a good job as Wing Commander. So
yeah, exactly. Like for me, I think my goal right now is honestly just to get through the second week right here. Like we have our first in-person for our detachment at least on Thursday. So that's really what I'm looking for right now. And then from there, I'm just gonna take it week by week, and from there, just try to crush it.
Okay, nice. Alrighty, so you mentioned you were in the Philippines. So were you born there? Like, is your family like in the military and they were there, or were you straight up born in the Philippines and you came to the U.S.?
I was born in the Philippines. Then my dad joined the military. I think
military?
No, he went to California, and from there, that's when he had some family. I guess he had some family in California, and got his citizenship. He enlisted in the Air Force, and then afterwards, I think like 2-3 assignments later, he got stationed to Korea, and coincidentally, my mom was there, so that's where they met. And after the Philippines, I went to Korea. I think I was there when I was like 4 years old. Don't remember it vividly, but I was there for I think a year or two, maybe even 3 years. And my dad got his next assignment. And actually, no, he got deployed, and then I had to go back home to the Philippines, where my mom and I went back home to the Philippines. And from there, when he got to his deployment, did that, and he went back. He got his next assignment. He went to Japan, and from there, that's when I went to Japan. I went to Cadet Air Force Base, and after Japan, we went to Germany. We went to Spingdalen, and I actually went to high school there. And after that, we're here in San Antonio. So I think I got here when I was 15 or 16 years old. So I've been here for quite a while.
Dang, you have a lot of military moving experience.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because people, whenever I was in Germany, and that's when I like kind of developed like good friends, they were surprised that I've never been like stateside. Obviously, we would visit here like in California or Vegas for maybe like 2 months out of the year during summertime. So they're always surprised that I'm like, I've never been in the States. I've never lived there. I remember when I was in middle school, people would make fun of me because I've never, I don't know what the heck Walmart was. So I thought that was interesting. Once you're here, like Walmart isn't that. It's okay.
I'm going into the Air Force because I want to get out of San Antonio. I've been here my whole life, so.
No, I think I'm just used to moving around, so I'm just like, for me, what I thought of when I was at ACE 100, and I was like, okay, let's just get through this 4 years. It's just gonna feel like you're you're PCSing to this place, and you're just here for 4 years, and after that, going to your next summit. So that's why I kind of think of them just like, okay, we're gonna be moving soon. I'm kind of like, I'm used to it. I think obviously my dad prepared me for it, so I think everyone will enjoy the traveling portion of it.
All right, nice. So next question: was the Air Force always like the choice for you? Like, did you ever think about other branches?
So funny you asked this. So when I was in high school, I was a senior in high school, and I actually wanted to. Let's backtrack more to high school. So freshman in high school, I was just still in Germany, and my friends and I were just like, we should enlist in the Army afterwards. And I was like, don't know anything about the Army, but yes, we're gonna do it. And after that, obviously went from Germany to here, and from my senior year of high school, I was like, going to be an adult now, so I'm just like, damn, what should I do? And I was like, I should go to Marines. And I went to Marine Recruiter, and I actually did like their PT test version, and I remember I was trying to go for force reconnaissance, and from there, after that, passed the PT test for that, and I remember I was going to sign the papers, but then my parents did not want me to go to Marines. I was like, no, I don't care. I'm still gonna go Marines. But funny enough, the day I think I took my PT test, just to see if I could actually go into that job, I actually got an acceptance letter for college. Which, for me back then, in my high school self, I didn't really think of myself like, oh, I'm going to college and going to do this. I didn't even know like RTC program in college that leads you to officer life. I didn't even know anything about that. And I remember I got the letter of acceptance for UTSA and like a couple other universities. And from there, I was like, dang, I should go to college now. So called my recruiter that same night, and I was like, hey, yeah, about Marines. Not going to be doing that. And from there, I actually went to, obviously, here at UTSA, and I saw now Major Guajardo, but back then it was Captain Guajardo. And it was one of the student orientation thing, and I remember it was the convocation center, and he was just standing there. Like, it was back then when the ABUs were still in, and I was just like, what the heck is the Air Force officer doing at a university? And approached him, talked to him about ROTC, and from there signed up, and rest is history. So for a short answer, honestly, I thought to myself that I was gonna go to Marines. Like, one of my friends actually took my spot for in the Marines, and he's actually deployed. And I remember I was just like scrolling through Instagram, I'm like, dang, that would be me if I went through that plan. So I think it's just pretty cool. But yeah, Air Force, Air Force family member, so I think it was just right. I mean, obviously we have Army here, and I think I just like the lifestyle in the Air Force.
Okay, nice. I totally relate to that part with you, where it's like, you're in high school, like, don't know what you want to do. Yeah, I didn't know what a GPA was till my senior year.
Yeah, exactly. So, I didn't even know it mattered.
Yeah. So I went to the Lexington, like, U.S. carrier down at Corpus Christi, and I got on top of one of those planes, and it was like the summer before my senior year, and like right then and there, I was like, oh, I know I want to be in aviation. So I was like, this is it. So I went to the ROTC, like JROTC commander,
in high school,
and he like told me everything I needed to do. So like it's crazy how like in the military, your life can just change like that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's funny you say that, and obviously combat systems officer, the job itself is an aviation job. It's one of the rated careers.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I wanted to be in the rated community. That's one thing. I think my freshman year, I came in as like a microbiome major, and from there, chemistry was not it for me. And I thought to myself, I was just thinking, I was like, I don't know what to do after this. Like, back then I had that 20-year plan, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in the Air Force, and I'm gonna try to be a doctor in the Air Force, and after that, we're gonna have a good life. And from there, everything just like went down the hole after I took my first chemistry class, and I was like, this is rough. Like, I don't know what to do now. And I think I got picked up for one of the flying programs my freshman year in RTC, and that's when I thought to myself,
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
It's called the ACE Aviation Program.
Yeah.
And they flew me out to Memphis, and from there, we were flying like every day for 3 weeks straight.
And you got to solo.
Yeah,
right?
I got to solo.
That's
up
pretty
there.
crazy.
So it was
pretty
pretty
crazy.
cool. Like, I remember I was just talking to like.
So you were alone in the plane?
Yeah. So
Dang.
I remember I was like talking.
As a freshman in college, that's crazy.
And
that's
this is
crazy.
like with no experience in the aviation, so I was like, I don't even know how to apply this thing. But obviously they, studied and all that stuff. But I remember like before I went to that program, it was the night beforehand, and I was about to go to San Antonio Airport, right? And I thought to myself, I'm like, I can't fly. Like, I'm scared of heights. Like, I can't fly. But I think my first flight, I remember this, and it was like a small little school, like flight training school. And from there, we all showed up early in the morning, and it was the cadre there were like Air Force pilots, and they were like teaching the class. And I remember I was just sitting there. I was just like, I flew first out of my whole class, and there was like I think 20 of us, and I was just like, I'm flying first. I don't even like this is with no ground school whatsoever. Like I was just thinking, I'm like, I don't even know how to fly. Like I don't know how to fly a plane. I'm like, why am I going up first? So I thought it was super cool, but I mean, it was just a good experience, and that's what led me to want to go in the rated community. Funny that you said that though.
Yeah. Alrighty, so now let's get into more about the Wing Commander stuff.
Yeah.
So first question: what made you want to become a Wing Commander?
Honestly, I think it was just literally last semester, because I tried out for it fall semester or spring 21, and we were submitting application. And I was like, I think it would be cool, Wing Commander. You're gonna be doing. You're the person in charge. You have a direct impact in people's like career training, as far as like how they're gonna do field training, something that actually matters here in RTC. So I thought that was very interesting. And for me, I didn't really think myself as like a creative person, but that's one thing that I wanted to better myself with, is just like being creative. So I was like, I think I would like that challenge to just be more, I guess, innovative, but not change too much, especially with this upcoming semester, since my staff and I, we didn't really have such like, we don't have a long time of planning a semester. So that means we can't really change a lot of things. And from there, that's where I'm just like, okay, as a Wing Commander, if I remember sitting down fall 21, I was like, why do I want to be a Wing Commander? And that's what really pushed me to do the application, because the application is pretty long. And so I was like, why do I want to do this? How? And I thought to myself, I was like, sitting as an ACE 100 and doing all the PMT stuff, all the whatever you're doing during lead lab, like I have a say in that. I could make this training environment more fun, more or less. So that's what I thought of it. And I was like, okay, that's one thing that I want to do, is bring back like the roots of like DET 842 as far as training wise. Because what I noticed over the years since we were ACE 100 was that we've been like focused with training like 24/7, which is cool, it's good, but we kind of diverted from that like community portion of it, where it's like this is like your second family, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where I kind of want to bring back the roots of it. And so like this upcoming semester, like we're probably going to notice a lot more detachment events. Not obviously we're still going to have community service events, but focus more on like that community within DET 842. And I just thought that's really just a long answer, but to really hone it down, it's just I wanted to have more impact on just the training aspect of it and just the community portion.
Okay, nice. So a lot of cadets out there, like a lot of like freshmen out there, sophomores, they're kind of thinking like, that's a cool like Wing Commander spot, you kind of like what you said, you get to be creative and take control of everything, within the certain means, right? But so for all the younger ones watching, how can cadets starting out in the program like prepare themselves to be a Wing Commander?
Honestly, as an ACE 100 or ACE 200, I don't want you to think about like, in 4 years that's what I'm going to do. Because sitting just remembering top of my head when I was ACE 100, I didn't really think to myself that like, that's the position I want when I'm a senior. But something just to work on is just like being a good follower. Obviously you're never going to be perfect, but trying to perfect that. So that's one thing that you can work on now. and moving as an ACE 200 where you're kind of taking that leadership role more, and that's where you can refine your leadership skills. So really, you just have to work on the stuff that matters now. I think that's just in my opinion, I wouldn't want you to focus as an ACE 100 or ACE 200, or even you're a senior in high school and coming into a program. It doesn't even have to be DET for 2, but any Air Force RTC program. I don't want you to think about like, oh, my senior year, I'm going to be the wing commander. Like
right.
I think it's just a mindset that's not going to last long. You're just going to burn yourself out. So,
yeah.
Just working on your followership and leadership is really the biggest thing that you really need to do.
You know, I really like that answer because that makes a lot of sense, you know, because kind of like how we were just talking about earlier, like, you know, not looking out within the next 20 years,
Yeah, exactly.
the next, like, just looking in within the next 3 months, because before you even get to that, you know, opportunity, you got, you know, 1,000 other things you need to do and complete. So
in a way, think of it as like, if you're looking so far ahead, you're not going to be able to focus on the stuff that matters. Exactly.
That's actually
like
going to
develop. That's super cliche.
You.
Like, I feel like that's a Tumblr post, but it actually does mean a lot. Where you don't want to focus too much, like 20 years ahead, to the point where you get blindsided with all the stuff that's happening now. I think for me, I like living the present.
Yeah,
so
I like that. That's really good. That's really good. So becoming a wing commander is like obviously really competitive because they have to pick one cadet out of the people that apply, right? You know, all the cadets that apply are stellar cadets. You know, they could all take the wing commander job.
Exactly.
What stood you out, and what did you have to accomplish? Like, so like, what made you stand out? Like, what background do you think kind of like helped you get picked up?
Honestly, I honestly don't know. That's like just me being honest. In my opinion, I haven't for me, I like to think of myself like I'm hard on myself because I want to be better every day. So for me, I don't think I haven't done anything like different than the other. And for me, my mindset going into like jobs is that I'm gonna crush it. So and I'm going to give 100% every single time. And that's what actually I said during the interview, is that what sets me apart is that I don't really talk about what I'm gonna do. I kind of let the action speak for itself. So obviously there's a lot of people who applied and they all did an amazing job in the interview process. Like for me, I'm a terrible public speaker, and even doing an interview panel with like all the cadre members out there, that was terrifying for me. And I know my interview was
I can totally relate to that.
Exactly. So it's like, for me, I didn't really do, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion. If you ask like Major SEAL, he might have a different answer. But yeah, I didn't really do anything special. It's just, I think just my mindset going to things.
Is that action that next month?
Yeah, I'm not
months?
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't like talking. I just like doing, like actually doing the stuff that I'm going to do. I'm not really the type of person that really talks about it. Yeah.
So note that, everyone, you know, just do what you got to do in the present. Do it the best.
Yeah, honestly, like for me, if like for ACE 100, 200 watching, is like, don't talk about what you're going to do, but actually just do it. And then from there, later on, action's going to speak for itself.
Right. Alrighty, so, you know, ROTC, student life, job life, personal life, they're all kind of crazy when you try to do them all at once, right? What kind of habits throughout your ROTC and student life did you need to, you know, get to where you are now?
So my ROTC life, I noticed this, I think it was my ACE 200 year. We're going to field training semester, or field training preparation semester. And I noticed that I'm like, wow, I have terrible organization like skills. Like I am not organized whatsoever, and that's one thing I wanted to change. So I've been working on it over the years, and I think that's what helped me out now, obviously, and even during the winter break. I think that's why I didn't. My staff and I didn't really have a lot of stress during the winter break because we were organized and we tried doing a lot of stuff early on rather than spreading it out throughout the winter break, because what I told them was that I want you guys to have a winter break. So whenever we're working stuff up front, obviously it's going to suck the first few weeks, but it's going to pay off in the long run. So organization skills and just my mindset. I noticed I've been talking a lot about mindset, but just the way I approach things is like, I learned in field training actually is that aggressive mindset. The person who taught me that was actually my FTO. I'm going to shout out Captain Fitzgerald. And yeah, that doesn't mean being an aggressive person, but more of like your plan, your methodical plan is being aggressive and thinking like few steps ahead. So those are the few things that I had to change in my ROTC, because I mean, when I was Ace 100, I don't really have that aggressive mindset of like, oh, I'm going to do this 2 days beforehand. I kind of did things last minute. So that's few things that I wanted to change, been working on. And I think some of the character traits that is important, especially if you're leading a detachment. And as far as student life goes, study habits, that's one thing that I wanted to change. And I noticed it my ACE 100 year when I was a freshman, going through that STEM major, microbiome, and I noticed that my study habits were awful. Like I would study the night of the final, and the next day I would just cram everything in. I just noticed that it was terrible. So blending those two together, I wanted to improve my study habits, wanted to improve just my mindset going to things, and just my organization skills. Yeah.
Nice. So, what should everyone know who is thinking about being a wing commander know? What should kind of like you last
like
semester?
I actually talked to Cadet Chavez with this.
Okay.
Cadet Chavez was the Fall 21 wing commander, and we were talking, I think it was over the weekend, and we just noticed that as a wing commander, like you have a lot of say in things, which might sound weird, because obviously you're in charge, you're the top person, but it didn't really click to us until we're doing the job where it's like, wow, like our yes or no answer actually means, like it means a lot. So that's one thing that I noticed right from the get-go, even barely starting the job. This is my second week in the job, and if like I told Cadet Buckles, my mission support group, I remember the first few weeks he was sending me up plans, and I'm like, Buckles, like I'm gonna give you responsibility. You can say yes or no to that. So like you have a lot more influence as a wing commander, obviously, but you're not gonna really know it until you're in the job where it's just like, wow, I'm really like, whatever I say actually goes. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's gonna be some plans that needs cadre approval, but for the most part, like you're the final authority provide, like as far as like approving stuff. So I think that's super cool. It's definitely hard when it's like for example, like lead lab stuff, like trying to make a decision. Oh, what should we do? And then they look at you. I'm just like, yeah. But I think it's super cool. I love challenges. I'm the type of person, so I think this is like a really cool challenge for me, and that's what I just think of with this job. It's just like, okay, I know it's gonna be hard, but I want to crush it. Especially, I want this to be a memorable last semester for like all of us, especially for the ACE 400 class, because this is gonna be our last time in ROTC. It's gonna be our last time being a cadet in the program. So I thought to myself, like, I definitely want to crush this, and I want this to be a memorable semester for us.
End off with a bang, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alrighty, so kind of like a similar question, like what should they know? But what did being a wing commander surprise you with? Is it kind of like the same thing?
Yeah,
or
so,
is there anything else maybe that like you're like, oh, I didn't know that I would do that? Or
like for me,
like what did you not expect?
The emails. That's one thing that surprised me, was like cadre can email you like at 9 p.m. with like some problems, or they can email you at 7 a.m. in the morning. So definitely the email surprised me, which obviously in RTC you have to constantly check your email, especially as a POC, right?
That's huge.
Exactly. But as a wing commander, it's like I have to constantly check it whenever I have free time, because maybe like there's some urgent things that needs to be taken care of. So definitely the emails portion definitely surprised me, because
past hours and everything.
Usually for us, whenever we email stuff down to each other, we usually message each other like, hey, sent you an email, can you please check it out?
Yeah.
But as far as like from cadre to us, they don't really message you. They just expect you to check your email, which is, yes, that's correct. But
we kind of do that as
I think we're just spoiled. I think like we just treat each other like, okay, I want them to message me, so I'll message them. So I think we just know, but
we can't do that as for like insurance.
Exactly. But so that's
for them. They're like not giving you that. They're like, all right.
Yeah, because obviously they're busy, right?
Yeah.
So they're super busy. They're not gonna have time to like. They send you 2 emails and then they message you, right? So it doesn't make sense. But that's one thing that definitely surprised me is the amount of emails.
All right. So, for the Wing Commander process, what is that process like? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, let me think, because I'm just thinking from AS 100 year all the way to now, the process is still the same. In my opinion, it's still the same. It looks like it's still the same. Usually the OFC, so the Operations Flight Commander, which for this semester and last semester was it's Major SEAL, and he usually sends up a memorandum down the chain or through the Slack message, and from there it's just going to tell you what the commander, the detachment commander wants of a wing commander, and from there the criteria and the application, what needs to be in the application, and usually all the way in the bottom of that it tells you the due date for everything. First step is submitting your intent, saying that you want to be the wing commander. Second step is doing the application process, and third step actually submitting your application to Major SEAL or the OFC of the respective year. And then after that, few weeks later, I think it's like a week later or 2 weeks later, depending on the timeline, cadre or Major SEAL is going to email you about interview times, which tells you that you got invited to an interview. And after being invited to an interview, they're going to tell you a specific date and time for you to go to the detachment and participate in an interview panel with the rest of the cadre. So that's usually the process. And you have to wait, it just depends, a week, 2 weeks later. For me, I got notified, I think, a week and a half later. I think it was a week and a half or 2 weeks later. And from there, it kind of sprinkled down to notifying everyone else.
How intimidated were you being in that panel?
Honestly, the first time doing it, which was spring 21, I think it was during the March time frame. It was very, I was definitely trembling. I was scared because it was just my first time being in an interview panel. Usually I'm used to a one-on-one interview, and that's usually for me, that's really nothing. But for, I think it was 8 cadre members out there, eight or 9, and NCOs, major, lieutenant colonel. So I think I was just this is definitely scary. So I was definitely scared going into it. But fall semester, for me, whenever I get nervous, I notice I don't even know what I'm saying when I get nervous. So it still happens. But this interview process, I came in I wasn't scared, or I was just obviously a little bit nervous, but at the same time, kind of went in there knowing my answers and knowing what I wanted to say, and really just proving to them oh, I actually do want this job.
Okay, so let's talk about this semester that we're currently in. What's your vision for this detachment this semester?
Obviously, for training, obviously providing a world-class training environment. Textbook my vision. Providing a world-class training environment for our cadets. That's really just my big vision. But the non-technical things, for me, I talked about it a while ago, bringing back the roots of DET 42 as far as training and community and finding that balance. For me, I thought about it when I was doing my planning process, was that really operations group commander and maybe maintenance group commander are the only 2 people that needs to focus on training. The rest of my staff should be focusing on what can we do to improve the mental health portion or just the activities portion of it for the detachment. So for me, my vision is just basically to obviously keep doing the right things or keep doing whatever we've been doing for training and do it better. And for the community portion of it is more of provide more, make this your actual family, so you're going to notice lead labs. One thing is we've had more flight time, or we've been having more flight time. It's just because I thought about it as Ace 100, right? We had a lot of flight times, and I think that's what made us to who we are now.
Yeah.
So kind of wanted to bring that back, and also just a lot of training, value with that. You learn a lot within your flight. You learn a lot from your flight commanders, as opposed to like a 200 auditorium when there's 200 cadets in there and you're just getting briefings. So, but
yeah, I totally relate to that whole flight time thing, how it like makes a huge difference, because when we were freshmen, we were showing up to PT an hour early, and that whole hour was flight time. So we got 2 extra hours of flight time.
Yeah, exactly. And
a week.
Like lead lab itself, there's after briefings, there's always like an hour of flight time, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, so those are just a few like small little things I wanted to do in as far as like this upcoming semester, and some few things like, for example, we talked about it our last staff meeting, which was last Friday, and we're actually trying to bring in the Air Force Thunderbirds out here. So if you guys didn't
that'd
know,
be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So
that'd be crazy.
If you didn't know, we have an air show here. I think it's the Great Texas Air Show or something like that, and I think it's from April 20. Late April timeframe, and Cadet Edwards actually has contacts with one of the Air Force Thunderbird people out there, and yeah, so we're going to try to get them in here, hopefully get them in a podcast, even lead lab.
That'd be cool.
So like, some of the few things that we want to do, and like another thing is like bringing back like movie nights and detachment. I remember freshman year when we were just like making this detachment literally our second home, where we would take naps here. And I remember there was Xbox here, we were playing Call of Duty. So it's like just bringing it back, obviously not the Call of Duty portion, but more of like just that movie night portion of it, like, fun things that actually makes you want to stay in the program. But yeah.
Alrighty, so this is our last question. What legacy and message do you want to leave behind to our cadets?
Legacy for me, let's start with the message first, because for me, the message is that I want the cadets to feel like that they deserved their commission. So I just want everyone to work hard. That's really the biggest thing, because I want you to earn that commission, and like to the point where you're across that stage reciting the oath of office like a small little teardrop, because you know yourself that you deserve that commission. That's really the biggest like message that I tell cadets, like especially Ace 100 that I talk to, is if they ask for tips, I was like, just work hard. Honestly, just work hard. Even though you're just a flight commander, go above and beyond, like 110%, 200%, whatever it is, whatever your message to yourself is, but do it well and crush it, because once the time ends here in the program and you're a second lieutenant, you're signing the oath of office, that's where I want you, like, and you're like, wow, I deserve that. So that's one thing. And as far as legacy goes, I want this last semester, like I said a while ago, I want it to be a memorable semester, not just for ACE 400, but also for actually the ACE 200 and the rest of the detachment, because I just want my legacy to be like we're producing a good, exceptional officers for the Air Force and Space Force. So that's really my biggest thing that I wanted to do, is actually embody that. I mean, we always say, like, we always tell people, oh yeah, we want to commission exceptional officers, but embodying that and actually putting it into action, putting actions into words, that's one thing that I definitely wanted to do. But yeah.
Well, alrighty then. That about wraps it up for all the questions I got for you. So thank you so much, Cadet Panti, for coming out here. Yeah, really appreciate it, man. You guys heard it here. Work hard, all right? So all you cadets, don't quit. Work hard, all right?
All right, thank you.
All right, then. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.